Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, man?
I'm working on Quest 3 for the second time, but I'm doing it with any number of parents.
Oh, wow.
Uh, yeah, some trials and tribulations that I didn't quite expect, but it's all interesting and maybe a Reddit post in the future.
Yeah.
So how's it going for you guys? Did everyone
Pretty chill.
manage to get through Quest 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Mm.
I was stuck on quest 1, but then like there were times when like to clear one quest, you had to like fix something in a later one. So I was like, I'm just gonna keep going. And then I kept going and I was all good, but that first mini quest kept messing me up because I was like returning the string wrong. So that was pretty cool. I was working on that for a few days. Pretty epic.
Do you guys know what was up with the announcement? Because like it doesn't really make sense. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was like a statistical thing he was talking about, or because he said like it's you can't get anything higher than A minus if you didn't do quest 2 by like yesterday or something. And like I mean I didn't really have any issues with it, but like that doesn't really make sense because the policy was that you could go back once you've gotten to quest 9. So should it still be possible to fulfill everything?
No clue.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
think
question for him.
Like I think what he might mean is like most people don't get like above an A minus if they don't finish it by that
Yeah,
time. Maybe
that's what I
something
thought
like that.
too, but the language was a little bit ambiguous.
Yeah, I think he has like a lot of stats on like which people get which grades. And so he was just saying I think he might just be setting like at what point you should be at right now if you're trying to get an A.
Definitely is like a scary email though. Like I get that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you can still grind it out and finish quest 9 by week 7. But like statistically speaking, most people maybe would get an A minus.
But I've noticed like for the past few days, the Reddit, like there's not been many new posts.
Yeah.
Like
I don't
how many
think
posts, like he stays in the thing, like at least a dozen posts and comments. I'm assuming like to get like good C score, you must have at least 12 comments and posts combined by 11 weeks. I'm
Yeah, that
guessing.
one I don't know either. Is it 12 combined or is it 12 of each? Could be either as well. Like I don't know.
well, we do have a like new final essay thing. So or I don't know if it counts as an essay. If you think about it, probably like 12 combined, right? If you can write like a good amount. Well, I guess it depends like how thoughtful each one is, because it depends how much you can sort of write about what you did. Like if you had like a really insightful comment with like a bunch of like links and stuff, or if you had like a huge post versus like a comma that just says like yes. That would probably change how many you need. But yeah. And any of you guys done quest 3 yet?
I finished quest 3 like last Thursday, if I recall. It was kind of long, but it wasn't like too much coding. It was just, I think I spent most of the time trying to understand the directions. Like that was like I spent like 70% of the time actually trying to understand the directions and 30% of the time actually coding.
That's
That's
fun.
not
'Cause that means you
uncommon.
get it, right?
Yeah.
Did you come across any particularly interesting like rules?
Well, I mean, it was only 1 in 3 parents. So I mean, one thing I noticed was like when I tried to do 5 parents, I realized it wasn't working because of the size T. So I think the size T defaulted to 32 bits. So I'm pretty sure if I changed it to long, it'd probably work because with 5 bits,
There's
it would be like 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 5, so it'd be 2 to the power of 32, which is too big for an integer. So
Yeah, all you really have to do is when you check if your rule is above a certain amount, because I think that's the only time you need to have any like an integer that high in your code.
Yeah.
Is you just change it from like calling pow2 twice to just calling pow2 once, and then left shifting 1 with ULL after it here. I can post it in, well, I could post the 1 ULL in the chat. Instead of 1, you do that, but not in your pow2 method. And then that'll be enough for the one time that it gets used if you're doing 5.
I see. Yeah.
The other thing though is algorithmically generating 4.3 billion rules, or like being able to generate up to 4. Like all the 4.3 billion different rules without having to do like switch statements and stuff like that.
Christopher,
What's
which one
up?
are you on now?
I'm on 8.
I heard 8 is, or Anon told me 8 is one of the hardest.
Really?
Yeah, really? I
You
just
agree?
like I just finished 7, so
Oh, okay.
Wait,
Yeah.
haven't really touched it.
I was 7. I just got to 7.
Oh, the queue.
I thought 7 was fun.
7 was pretty easy.
That was the Q one, right? Or
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's queue.
Yeah.
yeah, that was cool. I think the stack, it was not that hard though.
Good to know.
Yeah, I think I'm at the point where I'm just doing like 1 quest a week, because if I continue, then I'll be done with quest 9 by I think week 8.
Yeah.
Pump those.
I'm debating whether to share some intimate knowledge about some of the quests and how difficult some of them are
But
or
also,
aren't.
what is that extra credit email he sent? Like, can you do that like after week 8, or does it have to be like done like as soon as possible? Like, because he said after done with green 9, then like email him or something.
Yeah, I think he mentioned it like 2 meetings ago that like he was gonna put something together for whenever you finished early, if you finished early, and just like see if it was doable.
I don't know if he has to even put stuff together because there's actually secret quests. He told me about one last quarter called and Nemo knows about it too. He and I tried it a little bit, but it's called Curiouser and Curiouser, and it's pretty short, but it's also kind of interesting too. Probably not
Was that
extra
extra
credit.
credit for DS2A or?
I don't think it was extra credit.
It gives you like 1 point if you solve it, so maybe
So
one
maybe you get like 1 trophy.
Cool.
1 trophy.
Yes, 1 trophy. Yeah, actually, was it Tejas? You said that you were gonna keep going at 1 quest a week?
Yeah.
I remember I had a meeting with Anon where he told me about the whole like essay thing, and he said that like I should push ahead and be done early or something, or like get to quest 8 early, because he said like people take a lot of time on that one. So
It's because I'm on quest 4 right now. So if I do 1 a week, I'll still like have a good like I guess breathing room.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's smart.
For
I'm gonna
people
try.
who had him last quarter, what are his midterms like? It's the
They're
one like
mostly-
variable.
They're mostly like like short little segments of code, and then like it's just basically if 50% of it felt like they were just trick questions.
Yeah,
Okay.
multiple choice trick questions about
Yeah.
code snippets.
So the syllabus quiz, but with code.
Yes.
Yeah,
We're also like weird stylization questions and yeah, some other things. They're not enjoyable, I would say, but if you do, he generally like gives out generally sends out like a practice midterm and also for the final the same thing. If you do that, you get like a pretty good idea of what's going to be on there.
I don't think it'll be all syntax this time. I'm sure it'll be like, what's the output of this code? Like, and it'll be like some small little algorithm or something that you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be more application than syntax, I think.
Yeah, in my CS2A midterms, it was just like 40 questions about like just out like basically like what does this code do? Like there was no syntax. So I thought those were really easy.
Did you have a non?
No, I had like Professor Harden.
Okay, yeah, me too. Those midterms are pretty chill.
Yeah.
I'm kind of scared for
Ver-
a non.
That whole class was far too chill.
Yeah, it might be a little too chill. Looking back on it.
Which class? His class?
Yeah, Dave's 2A class. I mean, it's a nice introduction. I'll say it's a nice introduction. Like, I imagine if I knew nothing about programming, I'd be pretty thankful.
It's a good refresher.
Yeah.
In the midterms, like if you recall, like would the like answer choices be like the syllabus, like where there was like some really like trippy trick questions like B plus or like I don't care, or like if you remember that syllabus question where it was like B plus, I don't care. That's for that.
Yeah.
So there were questions like that in the in his midterms last quarter, or no?
Sorry, I don't know about the midterms, but I just regretted that I remember that question. But
Because that question was like I thought I got the answer correct like 5 times, but then I realized I don't care was one of them, I guess.
yeah, I don't care was one of the answers. Just like, I feel like that's kind of, it's a subjective answer. But were there questions like that in email?
Sorry, can you repeat that? I think I missed it a little bit.
Were there like, for instance, on the syllabus quiz, there was a question and
The I
they had
don't care
multiple
questions, yeah.
answers. Yeah, one of them was I don't
Not
care.
really. Not really quite like that. They're not like stupid trick questions, they're just normal trick questions.
Like,
Wait, quest 5 is short, right? Like, if I recall. Because quest 5 the shortest quest.
That's fine. Is that the complex one?
Yeah,
Quest 5, I mean,
Yeah,
the
that's-
exceptions, right?
Yeah, that was easy.
that one's easy.
Yeah, I'd say there are a few other short ones here and there, maybe.
Six
Tree
is,
one was also fun.
yeah, tree wasn't 6 isn't that bad either. Once you like, as long as you understand inheritance, like actually, like the inheritance is largely set up for you on that. But like, if you understand that and kind of the virtual functions, like 6 went by pretty quickly.
Yeah, I don't understand the order of the reading because the polymorphism and the virtual function one is assigned for week 7, but then it appears in quest 6. So I was kind of confused. About that.
I think it's
Yeah.
I think it's like 1 week. I think week 7 is like, okay, week 1 is like a setup week pretty much. Week 2 is for quest 1, week 3 is for quest 2, and so on. So
I
it's
see.
like quest n is week n plus 1.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
But if you're working on a weekend schedule, hey, that's great. All right, I'm gonna continue working on this and making new methods and not sending it to the auto grader to have it tested or test it myself until I'm done and see how it works.
Nice.
How you're supposed to do it. You guys got any like general tips for quest 3? I just did the first mini quests. It was pretty chill, but
Now, mine is just like, I guess, like just read the specs very carefully. And like I kind of did like a few mini quests at a time, like the first 5 mini quests I did, and then like I basically did all the mini quests until like the generate like next gen, and then like the generate toString, and like so basically like you should do it in like different parts because that it's like I guess easier to debug and more like organized.
The only thing that really tripped me up in Quest 3 is not understanding the extreme bit. So that's very important to understand because the auto grader is very picky with that.
Read the modules on cellular automata. If you haven't, the LOSEF modules, they're like a pretty good primer on what you're supposed to be doing, and it makes it significantly easier because it like helps you kind of understand if you've never encountered what it is, because it is weird and not fun at first.
I wish I had access to that when I did Quest 3. When I was in CS2A, I didn't have access to any of the 2B or 2C modules. I still don't have access to the 2C modules yet, but
yeah, there's some quick pointers in there that like help a lot with visualizing the process that needs to happen in order to make a new generation, because you have to like pad it a certain way. And so it makes sense once you like think about it, but if you're not considering that, then it is, yeah, it's definitely a little trickier. It also goes over bitwise operators quite in depth, which is nice.
Wait, what do you mean you don't have access to the Logic module? Isn't it online?
it may be. I mean, I don't know. I just
Sure.
was accessing it through Canvas. If you got the actual LOSEFs modules,
Here, I can send it over in chat. Like you could just modify the last bit of the URL if you want to go to CS2C, just change it to
okay,
2C.
okay, time to finish the last 3 quests.
you're on 2C?
I'm on quest 7 and 2C.
Nice, dude.
That's pretty cool. Wait, so that hold on. Does that mean that you can take 2C and just like
I took
First,
basically what
2B
he's
and
doing now.
submitted all the I took 2B and submitted all the trophies.
dude, wait, that's the tech. What the heck?
This guy takes no other class. All right, don't feel so bad about yourself.
Okay. Yeah, those are some good tips. I think the LOSEF modules kind of go over the extreme bit. I feel like I have a good understanding, but you know, the auto grader usually has other ideas, so we'll see.
You're gonna have to use like a bunch of like vector functions to like constantly resize.
Oh, more
Yep.
vector resizing?
There's vector resizing everywhere, dude.
Cool,
The
cool, cool.
auto grader is ruthless on 3 though, for sure. Like I had a ton of like broken pointer errors and just like random stuff that it did not like. But yeah, I feel like once it locks in, it moves along pretty quickly.
Good to know, good to know.
How would you guys say quest 4 is?
Which
What?
one is 4? Oh, 4 is the tree, the binary tree.
Oh,
I thought it was gonna be trickier. I thought the linked list was harder. So like if you
Huh.
got through the linked list and then you can visualize the way the tree's laid out, I don't think it's like it was too crazy for like
yeah,
personally.
it's like a linked list, but like you just have 2 splits at every node, and then you just like put them in a way that's like sorted a certain way so that you can find stuff a little bit faster.
And you don't have to like you don't have to track like you track like a route, but you don't have to track like your head or your sentinel or this or that, because you can move through the list based on whether it's a sibling or a child. So it's like, yeah, I found it easier. And a lot of the linked list code kind of works for it, or like the ideas behind some of the stuff works for it. So
Yeah, I remember implementing a binary search tree in Java for my high school Java classes. So
Did you do that recursively when you did it? Because I think you're
Um,
supposed to not do quest 4 recursively.
Wait, really?
I don't
Wait,
even
I thought
remember. I
quite-
knew
I
it's
don't
been
think he
like
checks,
it's been
but
a
he
year,
says-
so yeah. Yeah, I need to look at my but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's like recursively and iteratively you can do both. It's just like recursively,
Yeah.
I guess you do like DFS, like depth
Uh,
first search, like going in. And then like iteratively, I guess you can have like a next pointer, like a left and a right child.
I thought 2 you weren't supposed to use. I thought 2 was supposed to be iteratively and 4 was supposed to be recursively, because
No,
we had
2
just
is
studied
Two is
recursive.
recursion. Two is
And
recursion.
4,
Sorry,
I'm pretty sure he says in the
Sorry.
quest that it's supposed to be iterative in quest 4.
I'm sorry, I
he
meant
says
1.
I think
Yeah,
you
1
can
is
do
iterative.
recursion because I don't think you
No,
ever
he says, I think I don't remember, I'm not looking at the actual quest, but I think from what I remember, he says something along the lines of, I'm not going to check if you do it recursively, but you should do it iteratively.
Yeah, I remember him
I
saying
mean, I
it,
prefer
yeah.
doing
I think that was
iteratively,
in
like
1.
when there's an option. Like I prefer using iterate. Like I prefer using while and for
Yeah.
loops instead of recursion. Anyways,
I mean, I don't think until you get to CS2C, like then, because there's like quests in CS2C where, okay, I'm gonna spoil a little bit. There's another tree quest in CS2C. And,
probably like DFS, BFS, right? Like Dijkstra, like that kind of stuff. Like
what
like
I'm
finding
trying to
shortest
remember
path,
what it is.
stuff like that.
It is
Like searching through trees,
I'm
finding
looking for
shortest
the
path.
quest. I think it's like it's a different way of like sorting the tree, and it's like
Oh,
a really awkward algorithm. It's really fun,
Spanning tree,
but
right?
it's
Probably spanning tree.
splaying it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But like what he does is he does trees with like thousands of nodes when he
Yeah.
tests it like rigorously. And so if you're doing like the wrong thing, that like if you go another way around it and like he'll tell you, don't do it this way. I'm gonna do it in a way that's gonna catch you if you do it this way.
Yeah.
And if you do it that way, he's gonna catch you.
Yeah. Interesting.
For the last mini quest of quest 4, where you guys have to design the tree, did you guys do it like algorithmically? I just like manually inserted everything.
There's a bunch of
There's
for
an algorithm for it.
Well, I
yeah,
don't know.
just
I
created
assume
manually.
there would be like some
Built on a for
algorithmic-
loop with like a nested loop that
Yeah,
then
yeah.
did something of
I
the
just create,
sorts.
yeah.
I assume you
Created.
could do it that way, but I just did it manually.
That's probably fine too.
Yeah, as long as it passed the auto grader. That's the motto of this class.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure if you just create like a vector in like there's like a way to read the tree, like in tree order in whatever, like there's a specific order. If you create a vector with all the nodes in the right order and you just create something that loops through that vector and passes it into the tree, it should automatically create that thing. At least it did in my experience, but also going through manually and changing pointers and stuff would be an interesting way of doing it.
Also, another funny thing was like I remember in Quest 3, I spent like 30 minutes trying to debug. And I was very confused because I realized I named my file automation instead of automaton because I didn't even realize automaton was a word.
I don't know if he's gonna keep doing this, but he keeps giving like less and less like source
Yeah, like the
code.
header files and all.
Yeah, like he just like won't give you the name of the file. He like
Yeah.
only give you like some of the header file.
I think you'll
if
find
you-
it somewhere along the way in this module,
Yeah,
honestly.
if you want to look for the name of the file, go to the very bottom of the quest. It'll have the names of the files you're supposed to submit.
That's what
Of
I've been
every
doing every
quest.
time. Here, wait, maybe I looked wrong, but hold on, let me
And
do it.
then he'll keep removing code from like what he's giving you, and then eventually he'll start removing what the auto grader says.
Really, in like 2C?
It doesn't really say much to begin with.
Here we go. Yeah, because usually they'll say like drag and drop your whatever .cpp or files, right? This one says, quote, drag and drop your source files into the button and press it. So you just have to like guess. I mean, it's fine, but I just think it's interesting. They have to guess what the file name is.
Yeah.
Is there a starter file in that? Like a .h file? Because it would be on the title of that.
Well, he says yes and no. It's like a picture, and like some of the stuff is like blurry
Oh
or
yeah,
like
I think you
taken
can
out.
see. I think you can see the .h at the top, maybe if I remember correctly.
Okay, let me take a look. Make sure I'm not just being.
Anytime it's definitions like that, it's a .h file
Yeah.
in the quests.
There's not a .h, but one can assume. One can assume because he's like, here's the header file. So
Well, also you can tell with what the constructor is called for that class.
yeah. It took me longer than I'd like to admit to figure that out. But it's chill.
I had a quick question. It's not a big deal, but for quest 6, I think like the trophies, like it adds up to 29 on the trophy page, but like it shows up as 28. I don't know if that happened to you guys.
Let me check.
Mine added to 28.
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
weird. I think that's the max you can get, but like you just add up the ones on the
Mine is
For
also
what quest?
28.
it's 29, but
For which quest?
for 6.
Did you double check your arithmetic when you were adding?
Yep, 6 is 28.
28.
6 is 28.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it's just a typo.
Do you think because I know at some point in the syllabus it mentions aren't there like secret mini quests and stuff? Could it be that? Are there secret mini quests?
Sometimes there, well, I think what he's talking about in the syllabus is more that like there's mini quests that come after the password. Sometimes he doesn't give you auto grader information on some of those mini quests.
Okay. That makes
And
more sense.
those are more secretive.
Okay.
All right, I think I'm gonna head out now. See you guys next week.
Yeah, dude.
See you.
Yeah, see ya.
Peace.
Bye. Good luck.
Bye. Thank you.
If you guys take any other classes, how do you guys like balance this class with other classes?
Well, this class is like not that demanding. You just like finish one quest a week on a regular pace. So just like try to spare an hour or so in your day and do the quest. Like you could even spread it across like the whole week if you want. But the only quest that really took me a while was just like quest 3 so far, and probably gonna be
Don't
quest
say
8.
that, bro. Oh no.
Probably gonna be quest 8 after this.
After 3 got like significantly easier to understand what he was asking.
They're all really straightforward after that. So yeah.
Honestly, 3 should probably be like at the end.
Yeah.
If it was in difficulty order, oh, I actually shouldn't tell you what exactly the order is, but I'd say 3 is probably in the top 3 of CS2B.
I'd say like also, I think just like setting aside time to do it every night, whether it's like the reading or like tackle one mini quest is like a good way to do it. Cause like I'm in this in Calc 2 and like, I feel like they're both, this could be more demanding, but yeah, I think if you just like set aside the time, I think just like sitting down and doing it and like doing like a sprint where like you only do this for an hour is probably a good way to get it done. I always expect the like quests to take longer than they have, and then like usually it just disappears with like a little bit of digging in.
I think I'm gonna head out too because I have another quiz tomorrow, but I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Do you guys ever use C strings? I feel like I've read about it. Like the modules have like a decent amount of stuff on it, but I've never felt the need to use them. I'm just wondering if I'm like missing something. I'm supposed to be using them.
I think the string class is a far superior implementation of like C string is just like old C style strings. I haven't found the need to use it on any assignment yet.
Yeah, I think the only one you'll need it is on 8. But
Oh, damn it.
Yes.
I feel my eyes glaze over anytime somebody like any assignments like, yeah, C strings, let's cover this right now. And I'm like,
Yeah, anything
why?
that's base C, it's like,
Yeah.
ugh. We have C++ for a reason. I
I'm a
paid for
firm
the
believer.
DLC.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in like using the tools that have been added in subsequent versions because they've been added for a reason. So like, yeah, I don't know.
Paid for the whole programming
Yeah.
language. I'm going to use the whole programming language. I mean, it's free, but my point still stands.
My favorite thing was like the day, like one of the days after I finished the linked list, the linked list assignment, I think, like on Reddit that day, I saw somebody on the C++ thing, like posting a video of like the creator of C++ talking about why linked lists suck compared to vectors. And I was like, yes, let me watch this dorky thing I would have never watched before. Yeah, I'm a bounce too. Hopefully have more energy next week. I'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Later.
Dude, 8 is kind of confusing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna touch it till tomorrow. I'm just doing something else now.
How much like net time do you think you guys spend on each quest?
After quest 3 to 7, probably like an hour per quest.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, it's like an
Except-
hour or two. Yeah.
Except like quest 6. Quest 6 took a little bit more, but not that much.
Taking like a couple hours just to understand what he's asking for.
I'd say I mean anywhere from like I'd say quest 3 should take like
Well, quest 3 took me
Uh,
2 days.
yeah, it should take a couple days to set in and figure out. Like you probably won't get it the first time you attack it, and then the second time you get to it, you'll be like, okay, I could do this a little differently and maybe it'll work. And then like 4 to 7, as Christopher said, it's like they're pretty easy. You probably only have to spend a couple hours on those quests. Maybe you could split it between 2 days and have a couple, just have a couple small sessions. But then like 8, you probably will take a little bit of time. And then 9 is honestly really, really easy. It's one of the easiest quests, period. Almost as easy. I wouldn't say it's almost as easy as Hello World, but it's like the Hello World of 2B.
Would like, I mean, I'm guessing you don't, but like, do you have any ways of like reading the specs to really like soak it in and get through like the sort of the riddles? Because like I don't think I'm the only one who sometimes has to reread the specs a couple times.
Rereading the specs is usually what I do. I mean, I'll spend a lot of time on the overview, trying to understand it the best I can. Wow, that's really showing on my face, huh? I'll spend a fair amount of time on the overview and try and understand that. But then like on each mini quest, rather than sometimes just coding stuff, I'll try and understand like what exactly I'm trying to do there too. I guess. But it's like, okay, you're talking about the exact, like the riddles exactly. I would say like when it comes to the mini quest specifically, when it's talking about something that you should be doing, like he'll often make notes about stuff that you should really focus on.
Okay.
But like if it mentions like for if you're doing like a string, like a 2-string thing, I would say look for like new line statements, look for things that, you know, like what it should look like and stuff like that. If you're looking at like, I'd say like one of the like more complex issues, you know, yeah, rereading it a couple times is going to be helpful. And then like maybe trying to think about what it would look like in terms of like in practice, like what it would look like, what you want to accomplish first, and then instead of trying to work step by step to getting to some accomplishment point, but like figure out the accomplishment point and kind of work backwards. Like that can be helpful too, I guess. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
tough.
that's interesting. Okay. I mean, I'm just, it really interests me that it takes both you an hour to like just like clear the specs and get into coding and finish it. Like I can't see
That's
myself doing that.
Yeah, I don't even like a lot of times when I start coding, I don't really even understand like sometimes a lot of times I don't understand like what they're asking until I start like coding and then like seeing like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, the other thing is to be like not afraid to try shit out. Like having the ability, being able to create like a runner class or whatever, like a, you know, some kind of program that can run the code in some way. Like if you come across like the auto grader saying, I tried this and this is what I got, but it should have been this, put that stuff into yours and see if you get the same result. And if you do get the same result, then you probably have like some error in some variable that you're not seeing. But if it's not, if it is different, then like, again, you just figure it out on your end, I guess. I'm just blowing shit out of my ass. I just want to keep the meeting going. I'm sorry. I want to help you. I really do, but I just don't know how to articulate.
No, I
thoughts on
understand.
this.
I like as I was asking it, I was like, if somebody asked me this, I wouldn't know how to answer it.
Yeah, I would not, I could not possibly explain it to you other than like, yeah, you just have to really finely like examine it with a magnifying glass if you have to, like focus on just about every word in the spec. Because I mean, they're mostly, they've been revised over several quarters. So
Yeah.
I think they're at a point where they're relatively comprehensive enough that you could figure out how to do the quest.
Thank you. Thank you for your wisdom.
I don't know if I'd call it wisdom because
Well, because you're up at 2C, I feel like it counts as wisdom.
I guess experience with the quests does help a little bit, but like
Okay.
I wouldn't say I have enough experience for my knowledge to turn to wisdom.
That's fair.
All right, I'm head out, guys. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. I'm gonna head out too. See you guys
Thank
next
you.
week.
All right. See you guys.
Bye. Bye.
See you.